this weekend, obviously, we just discussed what happened in Atlanta as the Braves seized the division and reached the century mark in wins and now have a shot at clinching their 5th consecutive NL East title with a win in Miami tonight or a Mets loss to the Nats in Queens. If there is a game, it looks like there's a chance it might get rained out, while the Dodgers are sitting at a historic 110 wins with 3 games remaining. Now, only 4 teams in the history of the sport have won more than 110 contests. So, Rec, who's the best team in the National League going into these final few days of the regular season?
Look, I think it only comes down to 2 teams right now. As far as the series we saw, obviously, with the Braves and the Mets, that kind of eliminated the Mets from this conversation by far. The Cardinals have been a great story, especially over the second half. I love what they're doing. But realistically, it's Dodgers-Braves. And when I look at the way these two match up, I love this Braves team. I love the depth that they have. They got off to a slow start, which after you win a World Series is historically normal. That happens.
The hangover.
And they really what they did, basically starting June 1 was they came out and they were a completely different baseball team. The team that we saw at the end of the year last year, but even better because they can move pieces around. They're more athletic. You actually heard it on the broadcast last night. They were talking about that. Defensively, they're better. Versatility, they're better. They can run the bases well. They do everything really, really well. That starting rotation, there's not a whole lot of holes there. The bullpen is actually way better than it was last year, and that ended up being a huge strength for them in the postseason last year when people didn't necessarily expect it to be. So I think you have to look at that team and say that they're the World Series champs from last year. No one's knocked them off yet. They just came in and really punched the Mets in the mouth. And now they're going into the playoffs feeling very good about themselves. I love this Dodgers team. The lineup's great. The pitching staff is fantastic. What they've done all year and the wins, everything, it's incredible. But I can't look past this Braves team again. I'm not going to do it.
I agree, and I think one of the biggest reasons is the division for me. You look at what the Phillies have done. You look at the Mets, the Braves. In the East, it's been a tough division.
Don't even sleep on Alcantara in Miami.
Exactly. You're facing some tough pitchers with Miami, too. So what I do look at is this offense just suffocates you. It suffocates any pitcher that they go up against, up and down the lineup. The power is unreal. That's the one thing that always continues to stick out to me, and our researcher, Mark Sales, did an amazing job kind of recognizing the Braves against the Mets this weekend. The averages were similar, right? 257 for the Mets, 261 for the Braves. But I look at the extra base hits. The 11 extra base hits this weekend for the Braves, 4 for the Mets. It's the ability to drive the baseball for me. And when I see that, this offense sticks out to me a little bit more than the offense of the Dodgers, even though they do have some MVP players in that offense. But what I love what Rex said is this bullpen is amazing, too. Going out and getting a Raisel Iglesias, that's where I thought the Dodgers made a mistake. Instead of them going out and getting somebody to help in that back end of the bullpen, that's where I think the Braves took a step forward.
And then Hader went to the competition in San Diego. We had a good conversation on the Twitter show leading up to this series on Friday with AJ Minter, and we talked about Spencer Strider and his status at this point, currently on the IL. Does that change your opinion, Keith, if Strider isn't in the mix? Because, I mean, Minter's report was basically like, we don't know if he could get back to where he needs to be in order to make a start. Like, he could probably come out of the pit.
I'll say this. They obviously need him, and he's been a big part of them winning all of these games. But we're all so stuck on what we just saw this weekend. Like, it's hard to say that anyone is better than the Braves when they went into that series and dominated. They swept. They had to sweep, and they did it. And they did it hitting the long ball, and they did it with good pitching. Now, I'll say this about the Dodgers. The Dodgers are going to win X amount of games, right? And the Dodgers are on a collision course to meet the Braves, in my opinion, because the Dodgers won it in 2020, and then the Braves came and won it in 2021. They already meet every year, but the Braves feel like they won the real ring, right? And now it's the Dodgers' chance to prove, hey, we're the guys. Dave Roberts came out in the beginning of this season, and he said, if we stay healthy, we're going to win the World Series. They lost Walker Buehler, but obviously they're healthy. Like, they have a bunch of guys. They get a Freddie Freeman this year. That's another thing why they're on a collision course to meet the Braves. I can't wait to see it. I hope it lines up. Obviously, there's other teams that can challenge and an extra wild card and all that. But it is about the Braves right now and the Dodgers, and I think both of them are neck and neck. They're the 2 best teams. I can't say which one is better right now.